Welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at the Oklahoma Sooners football program and Brett Venables going into his fifth year. John Mateer still has a lot to prove at quarterback. Brett Venables trying to get out of this trend of 6-7, 10-3, 6-7, 10-3 years. We'll see if he can have continued success in year number 5, not just a one-year hype moment the last couple of seasons. So we'll see as we look into all of Oklahoma football in today's video and give you my predictions on what I think will happen. But before we get into it, welcome to the Football Expert. My name is Reikley Ruby, and thank you for joining me here today. Help me reach my goal of 6,500 subscribers by the end of June. You guys may be watching this maybe in July, because I know this video will be coming out at the very end of June. So hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Like the video if you enjoy it, and comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think about the Oklahoma Sooners program, and where do you think that they will be at the end of the season? What do you think their record will be? Do you think that it's going to be 12-0 if you're a homer? Because I'm a Notre Dame homer, and I do the same thing with my team. So no harm, no foul with 12-0. Are you an Oklahoma State fan and you think that Oklahoma's going 0-12? That may be a little biased, but that's neither here nor there. But make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe button down below. Let's get into today's video. First game of the year, home game against UTEP. Easy win here. I'm not going to talk about it that much because we got a lot of big games on this schedule. Easy win against UTEP. No problem there. Then a road game against Michigan. Obviously, it is the home and home, the back end of this home and home. With last year winning against Michigan, 24-13 was the final of that game. A big game that really defined that season. Winning that game really set a trend, reaching all the way up to number 5 before losing to Texas and then losing to Ole Miss. So reaching further down, but got all the way up to number 5 in the rankings. So I think that this is an Oklahoma team that you once again got to make a statement, especially with this is a new head coach. Still the same quarterback in Bryce Underwood under center. But at the same time, you still got to make a statement as a head coach and Kyle Whittingham. And this would be a great place to do it. But also at Brett Venables, you can't allow a coach to make a statement like that. You got to get a win there on the road if you want to keep your playoff chances alive. And I know I'm saying this in a week 2 matchup, but this Oklahoma team has a lot of tough games on their schedule, as we'll get into with Georgia and Texas. Before you get into the back half of the schedule, which still has teams like Ole Miss and Texas A&M, you play Georgia, Texas, and Michigan in the front half. That's brutal. You cannot lose a game like this against a Michigan team that is still trying to find its footing after everything that went down with Sherrone Moore. So I think they do get the win there against Michigan. Then a home game against New Mexico. Do not allow this to be a letdown game. This New Mexico team is a good football team. There is no doubt in my mind that this New Mexico team, if Oklahoma has a tough season and they're not as good as I think they will be, but if they're not, this is a spot that Oklahoma can very much lose. And I know as I'm saying this, I do think that this is a win here for the Sooners, but New Mexico could very much be the playoff team. But at the same time, I could also see this gap in talent be similar to what it was last year between Ole Miss and Tulane and everything that went down with that. I think that it's just, yeah, there's a pretty big talent gap with that. So I have that as a win. Then a road game for Georgia. I think that this is a loss, even though I think you beat Michigan for all of the opposite reasons. I think that you lose to Georgia. Georgia has Kirby Smart, a great defense, a great system there at Georgia, even though half of the student athletes are in the Athens County Jail for a variety of different infractions. No, all jokes aside, this Georgia football team is elite from top to down. And even though they didn't win back-to-back, there aren't currently back-to-back national champions, I think a lot of people forget how dominant those teams were. And we're talking about 3 years removed from that. This is still a very dominant program there at Georgia. So I think that Oklahoma does lose that game, especially with being in Athens. Then a bye week before the Texas game. Both teams are coming off of a bye week, as I think almost always happens. This game is going to be played in Dallas per usual in the Cotton Bowl. And I think that this is going to be a very back and forth game. I think that both teams have an opportunity to win this game. I think Arch Manning and the dynamic players that he has at the skill positions, from Cam Coleman to the running backs that they have to even more than Coleman, they just the defensive prowess that Texas has. The defensive prowess that Oklahoma has. Like, these are both teams that I'm looking at their defensive starters and I just see stud and stud over and over again. Like, this is a great team that has a lot of stuff to work on in terms of what happened with the offense in that Alabama playoff game. But as a team, I still think that this is a really good team. So I think that my final decision is going to be a loss. I think that Oklahoma does lose this game. I just lean Texas. I think that uh, when looking at this game and when looking at the program that Brett Venables has built, it's been a great program. But the 3 out of 4 times that he's faced Texas, he's lost. He has a 1-3 record, and I just got to go with Sarkisian because, well, he's proven to beat them over and over again. Obviously, you did have that one win against Texas in the 2013 or 2023 matchup. 34-30 was the final in that one. That was an epic game, absolutely epic game. But looking at that one, then you have a home game against Kentucky. I think that this is a win as well. I think that Kentucky, or I'm sorry, a win, not as well, but a win, bounce back win. Will Stein, not a bad head coach, not a bad head coaching hire, a pretty good transfer portal class, particularly with Kenny Minchie and then the offensive lineman from Tennessee. I believe his name's Colton Powers, if I'm remembering correctly. This is not a bad Kentucky team. I think that they have a lot of holes. I think they have a lot of stars, or a lot of people that can be stars. I think they have a lot of individuals that are good, but I don't think they have depth. I don't think they have stars across the board like this Oklahoma team does. So I think that it's going to be a win for the Sooners. Then a road game against Miss State. And it's never easy. It's never easy to win a road game in the SEC. It's just not. The environments every week are difficult to win in, but I think that this is going to be a win. I think that Miss State is not going to be at the level that one could expect from a Mississippi State program in previous years. So I have this as a win. A home game against South Carolina, very interesting matchup because obviously last time they played South Carolina was a big blowout win, but then the time before that they lost 35-9. Just kind of a rough year in that first matchup against South Carolina. And this is a good South Carolina team, I would say. I don't think that they're elite by any means, but do I think that they have guys that are elite? Obviously, in Lenore Sellers and in Dylan Stewart, yes. And those are game wreckers, absolute game wreckers that they can put a team on their shoulder, put the offense on the shoulder, put the defense on the shoulder, and win a game. They 100% can. So don't allow that to happen. You double and triple team Dylan Stewart. You double team him with a chip block coming off. Like you don't allow Dylan Stewart to be a game wrecker. And then you make Lenora Sellers beat you over the top. And Nick Harbor has been an up and down player, so maybe he's better this year. We'll see what happens. Road game against Florida, as long as you don't pull a Texas like last year and do whatever they did last year. To be fair, I did have Florida winning that game in a pick'em that I did that I was doing with my friend that we picked 20 college football games every week just to see who ends up having a better record at the end of the year. And one of those games was Florida, Texas. I picked Florida, and they proved me right. They looked great, but I don't think that this is going to be the same Florida team this year. But once again, Swamp's a hard place to play. Then a home game against Ole Miss. I think that this is also going to be a win. I just don't think that Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss are going to be at the same level as last year. Obviously, Pete Golding has done a lot of good things at Ole Miss, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. So I think that I'm going to lean in the direction of Oklahoma, but we'll see. This is a 50-50 game in which I went with the home team, which is Oklahoma. They're playing Texas A&M at home. If this was at Texas A&M, I'd probably give the edge to Oklahoma or to Texas A&M. But with it being at Oklahoma, I'm going to give the edge to Boomer Sooner to get a win there. Final game of the season at Missouri, Eli Drinkowitz and co. At the helm there. I think that is going to be a win for the Sooners. I think that they finished the year off 10-2, 7-2 in conference. Think that's enough to make the playoffs and once again have a good year. But can they make it past that 10-3 record? Can they make it into that second round of the playoffs? I don't think 10-2 is good enough for a bye. I think you have to go 11-1 to get one of those 4 byes. But I think that is going to be good enough to get a bid and probably a home game with such a tough schedule with games like Michigan and with wins against teams like Ole Miss and Texas A&M, or let's say you lose one of those and you beat Texas. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. As always, hit one of the 2 videos down below. Will be a playlist of all my college football predictions, and hit the subscribe button up here. Help me reach my goal, 6,500 subscribers. And as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.